right. So this is 7th through 8th geography. So if we go to here, we will see our notes for today. All right. Sorry, someone edited it. So, continents. Continents are large masses of land, ideally separated by expanses of water. So our continents from largest to smallest. Here, we have our continents: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia, also known as Oceania. Oceania is probably the best way to call it, but either one works. So our continents. Continents are understood to be large, continuous, discrete masses of land, ideally separated by expanses of water. Right? They're generally identified by convention rather than any strict criteria. This means with up to 7 regions commonly regarded as continents. These are from largest size to smallest. So we have Asia being the largest, Africa the second largest, North America the third, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and then Australia being the smallest of the continents, right? In geology, continents are described by means of tectonic plates. Plate tectonics is a process and study of the movement, collision, division of continents, earlier known as the continental drift. So Asia, right? A lot of people don't realize that Asia includes China, Mongolia, all these countries, Japan that you normally think of when you think of Asia, but also as well Russia, right? Iran, Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, all of these countries are all also part of Asia. So if you look over here, this would be Russia, right? This whole thing right here. Mongolia would be right here. Kazakhstan would be right here, which is a very, very large country, right? And Asia would go all the way over here to Iran, India, looks like Saudi Arabia is over here, right? All the way down into Indonesia, the Philippines. So Asia is very, very large. Asia is the world's largest and most populous continent. That means that it has the most people living on it. It's located primarily in the eastern and northern hemisphere, covers 8.7% of the Earth's total surface area, and comprises 30% of its land area. So 30% of the world's land is made up of Asia, or the continent of Asia. With approximately 4.3 billion people, it hosts 60% of the world's current human population. Asia has a high growth rate in the modern era. So that means 60% of the world, that's more than half of the people in the entire world live on this continent, right? China and India especially have huge populations. Next is Africa. Africa would be the second largest, right? So Africa goes all the way from Algeria at the top, all the way down here by Senegal and the Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivory, all the way down Angola, Namibia, South Africa, over here to Mozambique, and includes Madagascar. So if you've ever seen that movie, Madagascar, this is the island that it takes place on, off Africa, right? Tanzania, all the way up to Somalia, across the Sudan, and then Egypt would be right here. and Libya, and then we're back at Algeria. So all of this is part of Africa. Africa is the world's second largest and second most populous country. At about 30.2 million kilometers, including adjacent islands, it covers 6% of the Earth's total surface area and 20.4% of the total land area. So with 1.1 billion people as of 2013, it accounts for approximately 15% of the world's human population. The continent is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea to the north, both the Suez Canal and the Red Sea along the Sinai Peninsula to the northeast, Indian Ocean to the southeast, and Atlantic Ocean to the west. So we have the Mediterranean Sea right here. The Suez Canal would be right here, the Red Sea, and then the Indian Ocean right here. And then of course, is Atlantic Ocean along this coastline. The continent includes Madagascar and various archipelagos. So an archipelago is a group of islands, a chain of islands. An archipelago is a chain or group of islands. It has 54 fully recognized sovereign states or countries, 9 territories, and 2 de facto independent states with limited or no recognition. Now to North America. North America is where we live. So California would be right here, United States, Canada, Greenland, Alaska over here, part of the US, and Mexico and the Caribbean, as well as Central America. That's all included in North America. North America is the 3rd largest continent by area. It is a continent wholly within the Northern Hemisphere and almost wholly within the Western Hemisphere. It is bordered by the north by the Arctic Ocean, to the east by the Atlantic Ocean, to the west and south by the Pacific Ocean, and the southeast by South America and the Caribbean Sea. North America covers an area of about 24,709,000 square kilometers, at about 4.8% of the planet's surface, or about 16.5% of its land area. As of July 2018, its population was estimated at nearly 529 million people across 23 independent states, representing about 7.5% of the human population. Most of the continent's land area is dominated by Canada, the United States, and Mexico, while smaller states exist in Central America and Caribbean regions. So, United States, Mexico, and Canada make up the majority of North America. It also includes Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Tobago, Honduras, Nicaragua in Central America. Right, those are all included in North America. Now, South America. So South America goes all the way top from Colombia and Venezuela, down past Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, right? All the way up to French Guyana, right? This is all part of South America. South America is a continent located in the Western Hemisphere, mostly in the Southern Hemisphere, with a relatively small portion in the Northern Hemisphere. It is bordered on the west by the Pacific Ocean and on the north and east by the Atlantic Ocean. It includes 12 sovereign states: Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, and Venezuela, and 2 non-sovereign areas, French Guyana, an overseas region of France, and the Falkland Islands, a British overseas territory. So what they mean is Guyana is right here. Guyana is actually not its own, or French Guyana is actually not its own country. It's actually France, part of France, but it's a overseas territory. Same with the Falkland Islands. The Falkland Islands would be up here. Oh, I'm sorry, Falkland Islands is down here. So this is actually owned by England. It's a territory owned by England, the Falkland Islands. South America has an area of 17,840,000 square kilometers, and a population as of 2005 has been estimated at more than 371,090,000 people. Next is Antarctica. Antarctica is at the very bottom of the Earth. Antarctica is the Earth's southernmost continent, containing the geographic South Pole. It is situated in the Antarctic region of the Southern Hemisphere, almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle, and is surrounded by the Southern Ocean. At 14 million kilometers squared, it is the fifth largest continent in the area. There are no permanent human residents, but anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 people reside throughout the year at the research stations scattered across the continent. So no one actually permanently lives here, like has a permanent residence, but people do live here that are scientists. And in fact, there's a handful of people that have been born on Antarctica. Obviously their parents were scientists, but there has been a handful of people that have been born here. And since no one owns Antarctica, no country, there's a bunch of different countries that have scientists that live here, right? They said 1,000 to 5,000 people live here at a time. So because there's so many people from different areas of the world coming together, and they all speak different languages and have different accents, the scientists here are actually starting to get their own accent. And it's a combination of, like the Russian accent, American accent, English accent, all these different accents coming together, and then they make their own special one. It's pretty interesting. At 14 million, it's the fifth largest continent in the area, right? Only cold adapted organisms survive, including many types of algae, bacteria, fungi, plants, protista, and certain animals such as mites, nematodes, penguins, seals, and tardigrades. Vegetation where it occurs is tundra. So there's not much vegetation or plants. It's mostly just snow, rocks, and ice. And there's not many animals that live there except ones that are specifically designed to live in the cold, as well as plants and fungi and bacteria. The only ones that live there are especially suited to live in the extreme cold. So Europe is the world's second smallest continent by surface area, covering about 10,180,000 square kilometers, or 2% of the Earth's surface and about 6.8% of its land area. So Europe goes all the way from Ukraine, up Belarus, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Norway, includes Iceland, United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, France, across to Italy, Greece. All of these countries here are part of Europe. Russia, remember, is part of Asia. Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia are part of Africa, and Greenland is part of North America. So although it's the second smallest, it has the third largest population. So Europe has approximately 50 countries and is the third most populous continent after Asia and Africa. So it's the second smallest, but it has the third largest population out of all continents, with a population of 733 million, or about 11% of the world's population. Europe is bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north, Atlantic Ocean to the west, Mediterranean Sea to the south, and Black Sea and connected waterways to the southeast. So if we look, we have the Mediterranean Sea here, right? The Ionian Sea, Arabic Sea, Black Sea, Baltic Sea, Norwegian Sea, and the North Atlantic Ocean. And last but not least, Oceania, or Australia. It's the smallest of the 7 traditional continents. Australia is a continent comprising mainland Australia, Tasmania, New Guinea, Ceylon, possibly Timor, and neighboring islands, right? So this is all of Australia. This is part of the continent of Australia, or Oceania, the island of Tasmania as well. New Zealand would be over here, this island right here, or two islands rather, right here. And then there's smaller islands like in the Strait here, some islands over here. And then we have the Pacific Islands right here. So Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Rapa Nui, Niue, right? New Caledonia, all of these are part of Oceania. The continent of Australia lies on the continent shelf overlain by shallow seas which divide it into several land masses. Arafura Sea and Torres Strait between mainland Australia and New Guinea, and Bass Strait between mainland Australia and Tasmania. So they're talking about here, Bass Strait is between Tasmania and Australia, and the Torres Strait is between Australia and New Zealand. With a total land area of 8,560,000 square kilometers, the Australian continent is the smallest and lowest lying human inhabited continent on Earth. So it's the most southern continent that people live on normally. So your homework is you're going to watch these two videos, all right? So the first one is going to be on the formation, all right, 7 continents. It's going to go over a little bit about what we talked about and give you some extra facts. Second video will be the formation of the Himalayas. So the Himalayan mountains are, let me see if I can pull up Asia. Himalayan mountains are some of the oldest mountain ranges in the entire world, and they are located along here, right? They go through China, Mongolia. So you're gonna watch how the plates shifted over time and created the Himalayas. Pretty interesting stuff, right? That is your homework. If you have any questions, you can email me. Thank you. Have a good day.